I now come to the question, a question which needs clarification. I shall read to you. The first question is, why do the churches insist on getting a baptismal certificate which is not more than 6 months old? The second question is, why the original certificate is not allowed to fulfill the requirement? Number 3 is, it's not easy to obtain a baptismal certificate, especially if someone is born and baptized outside India. So there are 3 questions. The first question is, why do the churches insist on getting a baptismal certificate which is not more than 6 months old? A certificate, perhaps it's a certificate, is a certificate. It can be, a certificate is called an extract of the exact writings about that event in the register. It's called an extract. For example, my baptism is written in a baptismal register book, the date, the name, my father, mother is called, and from there this is extracted in the form of a certificate. What is more important is, of course, the written document itself, and this is an extract. So we see that certificate has to be the normal protocol in every office, not only in the church offices or church matters, also in the government level also, that the certificate should be of recent origin. We can't take a 70 years old certificate, perhaps it could be taken as an original certificate, but people say that bring a recent certificate and the 6 months is the time. But in the Catholic Church, why do you need this 6 month certificate? Perhaps for other reasons also. One thing is it has to be updated, so therefore sometimes in the baptism certificate, which is of very old, let us say 10 years old, you had not received your confirmation. Perhaps that entry is in the column of the thing, it is not there. The last column is the entry of the confirmation. The entry of marriage, if you got married, and therefore this entry also is transferred. Therefore in 6 months time, we presume that these things, no new changes have been made, the other changes have been incorporated. But if you take a very old certificate, these entries may not be there. Secondly, 6 months, because some things may have changed. Some things may have changed. If you bring me a certificate of 5-year-old, perhaps the certificate is okay, but you may have left the church. How do I know? Or perhaps you may have crossed over to some other congregation or denomination. How do I know? So therefore, all these things, in order to be a recent origin, we request you to have a certificate of 6 months, which is relevant or topical and perhaps usable also in all our dealings and matters. So that's why we ask for a recent certificate. The second question about original certificate is not allowed to fulfill the marriage requirement. I fully don't understand this question, but perhaps it's in this way. Why do we ask for original certificate? The original certificate is, once again, it's because in order to see that no false entries or fake entries are entered. You know what we call the Xerox copies or the copy of the certificates work. When you copy, perhaps you can make a small correction and make another copy of it and present it to say that this is a copy of the original, but there may be changes. I remember when I was in a church, someone had, it was for the sake of pension, I think, or retirement or pension, something like that. A person had taken a certificate from us and he took a Xerox of it, made a correction. He was born in 1961. But he made it into 1967, and presented it to his department. Perhaps there was some discussion in the office. This man doesn't look that young, that he is born in 67. He is surely much older than that. And someone put an inquiry, and the court, I remember I had to go to the court and produce the original register to say that this is the register. In the register it was written 61. But this man had taken the copy of it and corrected and made another copy and made it 67. These things can happen. Therefore, we ask for the original certificate. I don't say that sometimes even original certificates can be corrected and we can be fooled also, but at least some precaution is there. And that is why we ask for the original certificates. The third question is, it's not easy to obtain baptismal certificate, especially if someone is born and baptized outside of India. Very true. Very true. That's why we say that that for the same reason, if in India, in front of us, these fake things can be done, how much more when you're abroad? Perhaps if someone brings a certificate and says that I can't get an original certificate because I was born there, I can't bring it, I'll have to trust whatever certificate or copy that you produce to me. It doesn't look nice. Many a time we have seen also in our pastoral practice, many people have been bluffed. Many people have been bluffed. I know one of a marriage case where a person was married and he took the certificate of his which didn't show any entry of marriage, and he was almost preparing to get married in the second time in the church. But fortunately someone brought this to our notice. We made an inquiry in that particular church abroad, and they said no, the entry is there of marriage here. And that was enough for us to say that this man is cheating or bluffing. So that is why we insist. I understand it's sometimes troublesome, but this is in your interest. This is in your interest, so that any fake things, you are not fooled by any fake things and you don't get into trouble. We are all for you, and that is why we insist the original certificates, what we call the certificates that come even from abroad, if possible in the original form, or at least a letter from the authority there that we certify that this particular certificate which is carried with this person is good. Something like that we need. And of course, as the first question says, it has to be of recent origin, at least 6 months of origin. Thank you very much. God bless you. May you have a good week ahead.